Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Happy 4th of July. I hope everyone has a safe and festive Independence Day. Guys, today's upload, I took a trip up to where Tom Messick disappeared. I actually went further than I ever have in those woods, that mountain area, and really interesting day. That video is obviously going to be shared momentarily. I've got some really terrifying Dogman experiences to share with you as well. Before we jump into all that though, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help this channel to continue to grow and go, and yes, folks, they definitely do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to today's upload, shall we? All right, guys, we are, as promised, up where in the Adirondacks Tom Messick disappeared. Crazy enough, the first few minutes that I was up here, there was a helicopter probably 150 feet off the ground, just real low. And then this strange kind of screaming noise just behind the camera. Probably a bird. I don't know what kind of bird. There it is right there. But it was pretty interesting to have both of those things occur in, you know, the first 3 minutes that I was here. So yeah, I said I'd be up here today. I'm here. Very beautiful day today. Bugs are out crazy, but you know, what can you do? You want to get out, you got to deal with the bugs, deal with the wilderness. So I guess I want to talk about the map that I've been talking about. So I ran into a state trooper the other day, actually yesterday. So you will see this video a day later. So 2 days ago, and was talking about it. I then contacted Department of Encon, or Department of Conservation, and asked about it. They're putting me in touch with somebody. The case is ongoing, so I don't know if a FOIA request will get it to me. But either way, I'm trying to get it. And I made the statement, you know, even I understand that it is an ongoing case, but it has nothing to do with any of the information. It just states where the search occurred. It was in the local paper. So it should be accessible to the public. Right here is where the trees bend. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll do a little adventure. All right, so this is where the trees bend. Crazy enough, is this it? Yeah, this is it. It looks different today, but you see how the trees are bent right there. They're bent kind of like at an odd angle. And then the other trees aren't. The other trees are all straight, all around me, until you get right here. Up in there is where those rock formation is. That really interesting rock formation that I found with the 3 rocks stacked on each other. So I don't know, but hopefully I can get that map. So yeah, I can't emphasize. Now, is that natural? Is that natural? I don't know. What do you guys think? That looks like it's weaved together to me. But I can't emphasize the fact that the FBI was not here because there was a convict on the loose. Airplane. There was no convict on the loose. There's a prison called Raybrook, and that's where the Department of Conservation headquarters is for the Adirondacks. But also, there's prison there, and they used prison guards for search and rescue, and they trucked them down. Maybe the person misheard and just went off of that. I don't know why, but it was pretty clear and concise. You know, what gets me is, and it always get me to this day, is they've never found his hat, his gun. There's that weird bird. His gun. Nothing. They've never found hide nor hair. And he taught survival skills. So you'd think he'd know. I just need to sit down and someone will find me. He would know. He would know that. That's something you know. Beautiful day though. Little bird squeaking away. Look at that mountain. But you know, like, it's just one of the mysteries. You know, there is actually more than Tom Mezek that disappeared up here. There was a little boy, I forget his name off my top of my head, and then the gentleman that I was talking about the other day, or about a month ago, you know, these woods have something powerful. The Native Americans always talked about a power in these woods, and it wasn't necessarily a good power. It's a beautiful day here right now, absolutely beautiful, but I mean, you just don't feel comfortable sometimes here. It's very weird. You just don't feel like, you know, you're like, I feel like I'm being watched right now, and I don't know. How about the experience the other day in Letcher County that I shared with the good old boys? I didn't mean anything negative about that. Like, they were just good old boys, you know? Whew, drinking moonshine. Look at that red squirrel. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right there on that boulder. Red squirrel. Huh. The rarity in the Adirondacks, all the gray squirrels killed them off almost. Be safe, little buddy. Whew. But the more I think about all of this, the more I truly believe in the portal idea. I 100% believe that the portals will open at random locations for no reason, possibly. Or maybe, you know, here's something to think about. Maybe there's something on the other side of that portal that was watching Tom, watching me, watching us while we're in the woods. And we're necessarily not aware of it, obviously. And it opens up and takes us with zero trace. I mean, it's always a possibility. The more we look into all this, the more the stranger it gets. I'm glad there's a lot of wildlife out today, though. That's always comforting. Just a beautiful day, though. Oh, look how cool that rock is over there. That just solo rock with the sun hitting it. Right there. With the moss. It's beautiful. Freaking bugs. Here's something I kind of want to touch on. I don't think that, my own belief, I don't believe that we will ever have an answer to what these creatures are or where they come from. There's speculation and theory, but you know, how theory doesn't mean it's right. And because someone wrote a book or someone has 10 million subscribers or, you know, even 100,000 doesn't make them right. It just means they have a theory. That's interesting. It's entertaining. That's why I don't watch other videos. I don't watch other channels' videos for a reason. One, because I don't want anything to conflict in my head my own theories at the time. Chances are I've already thought about it. Two, I don't want to be jaded. I've been doing this research for 30 years now. And to me, I think that by me sharing my research and my theories with you guys is, you know, if you guys want to listen to it, you can. And also, I don't think that my theories are right either. I don't think that anyone's theories are right. I don't think that there's anybody that has the solid answer, regardless of the flashy titles and shit. Whew, now we're going uphill. Actually, this right around here was the location back 4 years ago, 3 years ago, somewhere around there, that I had heard something off to the side that way and that way coming in at me. that pushed me off of this trail and sent me packing back home. Beautiful day. The wind is perfect. It's not too hot. Look at those mushrooms. How cool is that? Look at that rock wall right up ahead. That's where I gotta go. Alright. Whew. Should have brought my water with me. Kind of upset. I ordered a new backpack. A new Warden bag, actually. It was called. And it was supposed to be here today. 'Cause I'm sick of carrying this messenger bag. It fits a lot of stuff in it, but I'm like, I don't know, 50 feet from down there. There's that mushroom tree. Whew. Going up a mountain, baby. Just keep getting higher and higher. Oh, shit. Beautiful day though. But I really think that these portals can just open, and quite possibly whatever's on the other side is watching and manipulating our surroundings. You know, I mean, it makes sense. It really does. Especially since we don't know what these creatures are. We don't know anything about them. It's all theory. The angelic, the demon theory, it's all theory, you know, because I may disagree with that. Doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. Because someone agrees with it, doesn't mean they are right or wrong. It just means we have a different theory. Who knows, maybe these portals are actually an opening to hell itself, or heaven itself. Maybe both. We don't know. We can speculate. But for this many people to go missing, god damn, to go missing in state parks and national parks without an article of clothing, without anything, makes no sense. Fuck, that sucked. Oh, I just swallowed a bug. That cough that you just heard was a bug. Flew right in, mid-breath. Wildlife stopped a little bit though, didn't it? Interesting. You can hear it that way. but not that way. And that's the way we gotta go. Whoa. Whoa. I don't know. Maybe that's just a hole. No. There's more. Huh. We're getting pretty high up. I gotta get one of those meters that record altitude and stuff. I gotta get one of those Garmin's. I was saying we're $800 freaking dollars. Look at that. See over that? Like that ridge right there. There's a drop off right after that. Trail narrows out. We are mountainside, baby. Where's that trail tag? There's one, but I don't see another one. Right here, maybe. There it is. Okay. Yep. There's another trail marker. Alright. I mean, it only makes sense for these portals to open up here and out here. Look at this shit. Just amazing. Freaking amazing. And not in cities and such, but I imagine they do open in cities. Look at the trail now. We're getting to the top of something. I don't know if you guys can see the other mountain. Look how fucking beautiful that is. Just absolutely gorgeous. Trees are getting smaller with the altitude. Look at that, huh? Look at that. Whew. Oh, God. Yeah, look at that tree. That's a shorty. Wish I could get a clearer view. Maybe up here. Right down there. Whoa. Yeah. Holy shit. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. But, I mean, I myself believe that these things are some alien life form. When I say alien, I mean not from here. Dimensional, maybe. Outer space, maybe. Holy shit. Breathing's a little hard. But We are pretty much at the top of the mountain. All right. That chestnut? No, what is that? That's an oak tree. All right. I guess we'll head down. I really do think that, like, supernatural just means something above nature, something not from here, unexplained. Sorry for the camera. Had to switch hands. You know, it's if it's supernatural, it's not above nature, but not better than nature, but unexplained nature. Something above nature's explanation. Man, I wish I was up here when that helicopter went by. Oh, look how awesome that is. Let me see if I can scan in on that. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. But that's the lake right there. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Yeah, there it is. There's that helicopter. I hear it in the distance. It's gonna be freaking loud up here, boys and girls. But, like, you know, I don't know. I don't think we'll ever have an explanation. Like, why are certain areas... Oh, look how beautiful that is. Right there. Look at that, guys. Awesome. Awesome. You know what, like, what irks me too is that if you don't fall in a certain group in this cryptozoology thing, if you're a solo person, you know, you don't participate in these book signings and meet and greets where, you know, I think it's highway robbery, but you're kind of like looked at like you don't know, or you're outside of the fringe. Well, that's where I want to be. I want to be outside of the fringe. I didn't start researching to make buddies, make pals with other researchers. No. I started researching because it interested me. And if I can bounce ideas off of other researchers, then that's good shit. But I don't want to be pals. I got you guys for that. But I really think that Bigfoot, Dogman, Crawler, these other creatures that people are seeing come out of portals, come, you know, and quickly can use them. Not magic though. I don't think it's magic. And people, you know, people might doubt that, and people might say, "Oh, that's wrong." You know, well, how do you know? You don't. It's just my theory. But there's an explanation for it all. Is it UFO involved? Like, I know David Paulides has been talking about UFO involvement for a while, as of late. And he bounces different ideas. I like that. I think that's smart, you know? I think it's smart not to dwell on one idea for too long. Because then, once again, you get jaded. But, I don't know. Just a great day though. And, you know, like I was just saying up there, what the fuck was that? There was a noise, a weird noise back there. Like I was saying up there. Hang on, let me get down here where I feel a little more comfortable. I don't know what that was. That was a weird kind of, I don't even know if my camera picked it up. I'm gonna turn the camera around, hang on. All right, I'm gonna keep the camera behind me. I think that certain areas have more of a magnetic draw or whatever, you know. Maybe if I put it right there, yeah, there we go, that's behind me perfectly, straight above me. But I think, you know, that's why certain areas have more of a sightings and such, not because it is full of these things. Like Taylor, Mississippi, okay? Taylor, Mississippi may have multiple portals. Obviously, Luke had his experience there. DW had his experience there. So, you know, it's all speculation, guys. It's all speculation. Oh, shit. Sorry. Whew. This is a really nice day out, though. I'm glad I came out here today. I'm glad I brought you guys with me, too. You know? Whew. Just a slick day. Warm, sweating up a storm, but I don't know if it's the wind messing with me or what. I think that's what it is. It's just the wind. We are probably a couple miles in at least. I know I'm going to be tired tonight. So I might do a live stream later on today. I'm recording this on the 3rd, but I'm going to be putting it up on the 4th. So happy 4th. I think I might just do a quick live stream at like 8 p.m. for an hour and then go check out some fireworks with my daughter. But you guys are a super important piece of my life now. And I like to spend time with you all. I'm glad I started doing live streams. And here's something. And I mean this when I say this. I really do learn a lot from you all, from your theories. Not from videos you guys send me from other people, because I don't watch them. I really don't. But from your guys' ideas, from your original ideas, is what I get the most out of, you know? So, and I'm not saying like that rudely, you know. I appreciate you guys sending me videos and such, but I don't watch them because it just, I said it a half an hour ago. It makes people jaded, you know? This isn't a popularity contest or a whatever. To me, this research and these ideas are important to me as a person, and I want to share my ideas with you all. So in hopes that you guys will share yours with me. I think that, you know, I think that people my own view, I think that the average Joe, which I am, and all of the other creators that people watch they're nobody important. I think people, because they have X amount of followers and they're entertaining, feel like they are special and their ideas are special. Well, that's not true. Your ideas are just as good as theirs, just as good as mine, just as good as everyone else's. Better. Because you guys have thought about them, watched other channels, created different theories from my video, someone else's video, Dark Waters' video, Steve from How to Hunt, Politis, other people. Yeah. So thank you. All right, so I think I'm gonna talk a few more minutes. I am sopping wet from sweat today, boy. It's like 82 degrees out with a wind though, so it's not too bad. This portal idea, to me, is a valid idea, because why else would the government, since 1950s, be doing scientific research on it? How do trees abnormally bend when other trees are not? If there's not some sort of magnetic pull, which that magnetic pull, in my eyes, would help open something. Just my idea, just my theory. And I think here's something interesting. We talk about those bent branches, those teepee structures, right? What if those teepee structures that are created by Dogman and Bigfoot alike, what if it's a marker? What if it's a marker showing others of their kind that, hey, ooh, there's that bird, of their kind that, hey, there is a portal here. Either be careful or use it, you know? There's a door here. Kind of like an exit entrance sign. Yeah, this is definitely a bird, but it is. Like, if you didn't know what that was, you know, and you heard that randomly miles out in the woods, you'd be like, what the hell is that? Anyway, that's it. Or these rock structures that people find. Is it that, hey, there's a portal there? That's why I brought my dowsing rods to those three rocks that are stacked. I brought my magnet there. I brought an EMF meter there. Look at that. Here's the ground. Here, I'll go for my feet. Trail, end of trail. Wall. Huh. But I think it is a marker, like an entrance or an exit sign. Once again, just an idea. All right. I'm almost out of here. No, I'm not. But it is hot now. I'm sweating up a storm.
Anyway, guys, it is summer. Things are happening. Be careful. Be safe, but enjoy the outdoors. Like Victor used to say, you know, enjoy it. It's here. It's ours too. It's not just the animals. It's just not, you know, it's ours. It's ours as well to enjoy. But you have to be safe. You have to be aware, vigilant. Teach your kids about this shit too. Keep them safe. Anyway, I think, yeah, we are at the tree area. So, like, that's not normal. Hang on. That arc. And then in this arc area, those trees are bad. That's not normal. And that right up in there is where those rocks are. Anyway, I'm gonna bid you farewell until later, until I'm home at my studio. Be safe, guys.
All right, guys. So what a trip that was. As you can see, you've been with me the multiple times that I've gone up there. I have never been up that far in those woods particularly. I found it a little interesting at one point where nature was at its peak. You know, the birds were making a lot of noise. That red squirrel that I had caught on video, a couple of other just cool things. But then when I got to a certain level up that mountain, kind of things stopped. I don't know if that's because of the altitude or what, but I just found it interesting. It wasn't that sketchy today. For some reason, it wasn't that sketchy of a trip. I can honestly say probably one of the more enjoyable times that I've actually been up there. I've very seldom can say that I've enjoyed myself going up where he disappeared, but this trip was not that bad. I don't know. It's very interesting. Very beautiful, though. What a beautiful day. And I know you guys were probably waiting to see a Dogman jump out and tackle me or fall into a portal or Bigfoot coming. But, you know, it was just a really interesting trip. A nice trip. I liked it a lot. And I honestly wish there was something paranormal that happened, but I don't know. I didn't get a sense of too much going on. Just that one time where everything went quiet. But it was really weird when I pulled in. There was a helicopter just low, really low, 150, 100 feet off the ground, not higher than that or lower than that. And in the Adirondacks where I was, that's like a valley. So it was like whop, whop, whop. And then that really weird bird. I just picture like this bird with like a huge bill, cartoonish like, with that noise that it was making. But anyway, let's get into some encounters. Today's first encounter. I've never shared this experience to anyone before. I don't want people to believe that I am crazy. I am a professional. And if anyone were to link this experience to me, it would affect my practice. But despite that risk, I have to tell someone of this experience, even if only anonymously. It happened back when I was 10 years old, the summer of 1979. Looking back, I had an ideal childhood, which is quite rare now. I'm from the Triad area of North Carolina, from an area that was relatively rural at the time. I was pretty much a free-range kid. So long as I was home for supper, there were no problems. Much of my time was spent playing in the woods and creeks within a mile or so from my home. Naturally, being a bit of a country boy, I was obsessed with hunting, fishing, guns, bows, and arrows, and especially deer hunting. I read hunting magazines voraciously, soaking up everything I could about the habits of whitetail, from when and where they moved and what they ate depending on the time of year. Furthermore, I learned their seasonal diet and how to read deer signs from rubs, scrapes, spoor, and finding their trails. The experience I wish to share did not occur in North Carolina, but instead Virginia. It is a memory that haunts me yet and is something I will never be able to forget. As much as I enjoyed the woods and the creek of my home, my grandmother's place in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia was special. That was wilderness compared to the woods at my home. Her land in Carroll County was on the ridge about 1.5 hours from my house. It was just a 3-room cabin then, without year-round running water. When the weather was good enough for the unpaved mountain roads to be drivable, we were there most weekends. I would spend most of my day roaming across that mountain from the top of the ridge to the river below. The nearest neighbor was about a mile away on state-maintained gravel road, but even then, most of the homes in that area were vacation homes. Were vacation homes and were normally empty. It was a Saturday in June. School was out for the summer. We would go up on a Friday evening and come back Saturday night. My grandmother was a devout and probably the most sincerest Christian I have ever known. But it was Saturday morning, and I had the entire day to explore the mountain. By this time, I had a fairly decent grasp of the habits of the local deer population. Deer are more active at dawn and dusk when under pressure, such as during heavy hunting. Pressure will become mostly nocturnal unless they are in the rut. But this was June, and hunting season was months away, and the rut was a couple months after that. So I made my plans to explore the creek by following it to the river, then follow the river upstream to the big rock, then hike up a rather steep mountain back to the cabin, stopping for a rest at a shallow cave, make my way to the cabin about noon for something to eat. Then I had to help in my grandma's garden for a couple of hours. As you can imagine, it was a busy morning and afternoon, but at 10 years old, there is endless energy, and I had decided to take my binoculars and watch a recently timbered patch of land from the top of the ridge once my chores were done. I set off with a promise to get back just before dark. The only real agriculture in those mountains was raising beef cattle, hay, silage, and cabbage. The apple orchards were mostly on the southern side of the Blue Ridge near the tourist areas. Most of what the deer ate around my grandmother's cabin at that time of year would have been a tree or perennial browse, and any annuals such as pokeweed and other green leafy plants. They would also obviously eat any berry that was starting to come in at about this time. There was a few hours of daylight remaining when I took off up the road with my binoculars and canteen of spring water. The wind had been blowing favorably all day. For those who don't know, while you may fool a deer's eyes, you cannot fool its nose. The wind decides pretty much everything when it comes to hunting deer. On this day, the wind was favorable. It was blowing at a crosswind to me when overlooking the cleared little valley. The cleared land went down to the creek and had been timbered that previous winter. It was lush with new growth for deer to feast upon, but it was still low enough that an adult deer would be visible from my vantage point at the top of the ridge. The other side of the creek remained in timber and thick rhododendron thickets. I got settled in a couple good hours before dusk. I wanted to be there in plenty of time for the woods to calm down from my walk to my spot, and long before the deer came out. I did not want to spook any deer on the walk in. As I said, I settled into my spot and made it as comfortable as I could and constructed a rough blind by placing some leafy branches into the ground to break up my outline, which took maybe 10 minutes. I stretched out and scanned the clear-cut area below, double-checking the likely areas I expected the deer to come out of the woods into the clearing to browse. Then I just rested, enjoying the pleasant evening, watching birds and small animals. After about an hour and a half, the sun was starting to set, and I took one last drink of water until it got dark. Suddenly, there was a bit of movement down to my right. After scanning the area with my binoculars, I saw that it was a deer and a new fawn. The doe paused at the edge of the clearing to make sure that it was safe while occasionally checking her back trail. It then slowly moved out into the clearing, quickly followed by her fawn. It was a large doe with one fawn, which was not a surprise since older does tend to have one fawn, while younger does often have two fawn. But the two deer were not alone. Another deer followed them. The three deer slowly worked their way up to the creek, eating browse as they did so. The doe would pause to allow her fawn to suckle. It was then that I noticed some movement on the opposite side of the hill. The rhododendron thicket would move. Something large was slowly working its way down the hillside. The rhododendron thicket was especially thick, and while I could not see what was moving through it, its movement caused the thicket itself to move. I assumed another deer. By this time it was close to being dark. The three deer had taken about 30 minutes to work their way up to the little creek from where they had exited the woods. The expected deer that I assumed had come through the rhododendron thicket had never left the thicket and crossed the creek, though, which led me to believe it was an old buck, since they are usually more cautious. By this time it was almost dark. Fortunately, though, my binoculars gathered much more light. The binoculars magnified and made everything brighter. If I were not using the binoculars, I would have never seen what happened next. Often since then, I wish I did not have my binoculars that day, and that I had left earlier, but that was not to be. What I saw next has never left me since. The three deer reached that spot close to the last spot I had seen movement through the rhododendron thicket. Just a moment after the deer once again checked their back trail, there was a sudden commotion from the thicket. It was a large animal leapt from the thicket, clearing the small creek. The doe was taken down in an instant. What appeared to be a large wolf had the doe's throat in its powerful jaws. Astounded, I watched what appeared to be this wolf kill its prey. Beside the fact that there have not been any wolves in Virginia for about 150 years, I noticed that there was something else wrong. The wolf's proportions appeared wrong. Its front legs were far too long. Its upper torso was broad to be that of a canine. But then it only became more strange. As the wolf's jaws crushed the windpipe of the doe, I noticed that its front paws were not paws at all. They appeared to be more like hands, paws which were then holding down the deer in its death rattle. As this wolf-like creature dropped the deer from its jaws, it fell to the ground. The night action is what left me confused until this day. The animal raised from its crouching position and stood on its hind legs to the height of, I guess, 7 feet tall. It looked around, including in my direction. It sniffed the air as it did so. Fortunately, the wind had held steady, and I was not downwind from it. I froze in terror It didn't see me. As the light faded, I could tell the beast was a grayish in color. Its fur thicker around its neck and down its back. Its muzzle was pronounced. Its hind legs were too short in comparison for its front legs. While it was muscular, it was not overly so. This creature began tearing into the doe with its teeth. It was then I decided that a silent retreat was the most sensible thing to do. All I can say is I was ever so glad I had made a decent blind to conceal my retreat, so that I was able to retreat unseen and relatively quiet. It was also fortunate that the beast was distracted by its meal. I returned to my grandmother's cabin under the constant fear of a brutal death. I had never been happier to leave my grandmother's cabin. That was the first time I ever went there. My grandmother was not one to walk far from the cabin. I attempted to dissuade her from going there as much. Her health began failing her not long after, and her trips became less frequent as the years passed. We sold that land and cabin after my grandmother passed away. It was only a few years ago that I learned what I believed I saw that evening was a dogman. That creature had been active prior to dusk, and I do not believe that a person can turn into a beast. That is my experience. I don't know if it was a dogman I saw or one of its kind still roam those hills. But if you're ever in Carroll County, Virginia, please be careful. So back in 2022, when all that stuff was going on in Tazewell, Buchanan, Virginia, Smith County, Virginia, Mercer County, West Virginia, which is all in this like really confined area. I had done a couple of experiences in Carroll County, which is roughly an hour and 30 minutes from Tazewell by vehicle. But for any of these creatures using the woods, I think it would be a lot quicker. There has been numerous accounts of these dogmen and other cryptids, Bigfoot, in Carroll County. So, yeah, you're right. Be safe when you're ever in Carroll County. Actually, be safe when you're ever anywhere hiking or doing anything, in the woods. So, next encounter has a little bit nothing to do with the book Pentagon or Skinwalker in the Pentagon, but interestingly enough, in that book when they were interviewing people that lived close to the Skinwalker Ranch and such, and so many people had seen a canine-like creature in Utah, 5 miles radius of, 5 to 2.5 mile radius. The max they went out was 5 miles to interview people. And so many people had seen a wolf-like bipedal creature. I wanted to share this with you because it kind of fits right in that kind of vicinity a little bit. Let's jump into it. When I was in high school, I worked at a dairy farm in southern Utah, also where my dad worked, so that's basically how I got the job. I do a lot of things, like help my dad in the shop, clean, service tractors, cut hay, rake hay, chop the hay for hay cubes. There's a particular part of southwestern Utah that has a knack for skinwalker experiences, such as one of my friend's granddads encountering a coyote on a train going 40 miles an hour. But that's another tale for another time. Lots of desert and sagebrush makes up for it. I'd grown up hearing experiences about it around the campfire and thought nothing more of it than a campfire tale. This particular encounter happened to me and my brother while we were raking hay by ourselves in our own separate fields. The boss had divided each individual to take his own field to get more done. Hay is often raked at night to protect it from the morning dew. Brittle hay is less likely to shatter when raked while the dew is still on it. Raking also fluffs up the hay and turns it over so it can dry. So we rake before the dew sets in, which is roughly 1 or 2 in the morning. I was pretty awake in my own field, country radio up, which the chatter of my co-workers on the CB radio every once in a while. These fields are circular, also known to have pivots to water them. I was on the outskirts of mine when I swore I could hear the faintest whisper of my older brother calling my name. Now my brother is in the field next to me, but still a good half-mile apart. I thought nothing of it and thought it may have been the radio, so I continued. Not too much time had passed before I had to take a leak. The best way to do that was stop your tractor, jump off. By the lights of your tractor, go right behind the front tires where you are partially invisible from onlookers. I start my business. Over the hum of the tractor's engine, I heard my brother call my name again, very clearly and over the sound of the engine. I was getting a little freaked out and thought maybe he was trying to reach me over the radio. So I finished my break and got back to the cab and radioed my brother asking if he was talking to me. His response was, "I never called out to you once. And if I did, I called you personally, not over the radio." My tractor door was still open at this point, letting in the nice breeze, when I noticed a dog-like form standing on the edge of the field. I even rubbed my eyes. You can see things if you're very tired, right? But I must not have been, because the coyote was still there. I heard my name once more in my brother's voice. Immediately I shut the door and began putting distance between me and that thing. Coyote or not, I'm my present life. I have heard of Skinwalker can mimic loved ones' voices or take the form of an animal from that area. Southern Utah is known for its Native American culture. I don't know if this is an evil shaman in disguise or a coyote or not, but it freaked me out. It's not much of an experience, but I just figured I could share it with you all. So, like I said, same area, similar kind of circumstances with the people that were interviewed. But, maybe he was hearing something on the radio that, but had a Dogman sighting. Or maybe he did spot a Skinwalker. I don't know how I feel about the whole transformation of Skinwalkers. Do I think it's possible? It's kind of hard to imagine a animal shape-shifting, breaking bones, breaking muscle, ripping muscle, turning into a human, and then turning back. You'd think there'd be damage, but, I'm not an expert in the paranormal. I have a hard time believing in magic. But I do believe in ancient Native American lore. So I'm kind of on the fence at things like that, I guess. And, researching for this long of my life, more than 3/4 of my life, I've been obsessed with creatures, since I was 17 years old. I'm 48 this year. I always believed 100% that skinwalkers could shapeshift, and Rougarou is a shapeshifter, and this and that. But now, as I get older and I learn a little more and I talk to different people, I'm on that fence where I don't know. And it's just because I wonder, how in the heck can something break bones, tear muscle, to transform and be able to move and walk and then transform back? But like I said, I'm no expert. I don't know much about the magic realms of, shaman, Native Americans. I know one time when I was younger, and I shared this before, I was in Hogansburg visiting family up there, and the Oxsachi Reservation, and right outside of Messina. We're doing a sweat lodge, and we were using rock from Mount St. Helen. It was very sacred. It was a very sacred sweat. It was probably like my 5th or 6th sweat lodge I'd ever been in at the time. And I'm with family members and one other guy who's not family. So it's me, my uncle, my cousin, and a gentleman that was friends with my uncle. My cousin and I are on the back side of the sweat, and the two older, my uncle and his friend, are closest to the door. And it is hot as can be. They had got those rocks piping hot. And I remember sitting there for a while, and I looked over to my cousin, and there was a guy between us, an older guy. And I thought for a moment that I had maybe missed him come in because I had my eyes closed because I was hot and I was just focusing on the energy and everything. So I'm like, well, maybe he came in when I had my eyes closed. And I just didn't notice him, But then we get out to take a water break, and my uncle and his friend get out, me and my cousin get out, and I'm waiting at the door. Like, I'm holding the blanket off the door, because that's all a sweat is. It's a dome constructed out of thin cut sticks, and then piled blankets, wool blankets, and other blankets that you'd have around your home, or blankets specifically for a sweat. And they're like, close the door. You're letting the heat out. And I'm like, I'm waiting for the old guy to come out. And they're like, there is no one else in there. And I remember peeking in. There wasn't anybody in there. It was just weird. Magic? I don't know. Anyway, once again, happy 4th, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. It is your support, after all, that keeps this channel growing and going. And honestly, what gives people a chance and a place to share their experiences and theories judgment-free, simply treated with the respect that we all deserve. Everyone, please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, our pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there and dangerous. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions. Never stop searching for the truth. And God bless.